Hope we get some comments.
What is going on, everyone? 3-0. 3-0. Welcome to the Bring the Thunder podcast. Man, what can I say? Ugly as hell. But what did I say last time after game 2? It doesn't matter how they come. Just take your wins, move on. The Thunder improved to 3-0 in the first round series against the Grizzlies. Take a 114-108 win in Memphis in game 3. Some stats real quick. Shea 31-8. Jalen Williams, 26, 6-5. What a player he's been this series. Chet, 24 points, 23 second half points. And Alex Caruso, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and just the best player on the floor tonight. I'll leave it to you guys to get it going for us.
Well, Alex Caruso, the stats don't speak enough volume. This game had Alex Caruso written all over it. I said he's kind of the stabilizer of the team. The team feeds off his energy. He makes defensive plays, which lead to offensive plays. Defense leads to offense, kind of how it works in the playoffs. And we don't win this ball game without him.
I also want to say, like, to Grizzlies fans, a very unfortunate injury tonight with Ja. Clearly wasn't intentional by Lou at all. I mean, they reviewed it and it wasn't even called a flagrant, but super unfortunate. Unfortunate for Thunder fans to see it too, because you want to see an exciting series. I know we want to win, but I guess we'll wish the best for Ja. But yeah, Caruso, man, what a game! Him and Chet and J-Dub really just awesome defense. And Chet's 3-point shooting tonight was outstanding. 5 for 10. Since he entered the league a year ago, he's been a really clutch player, dating back to that game winner against the Warriors and Golden State last year. He had the Boston game this year, very clutch. He's made the leap. J-Dub's made the leap. It's up to Shea to really get back together here. 10 of 26 is not good, up to his standards. And I'll tell you something. We went away from him in the clutch moments. He was missing shots, and he was passing the ball. Not very happy about his performance this series at all. Very discouraged about the end of the game tonight and the game in total, honestly. But we'll take the win, and I'm super excited about everyone else's performance. Dub, Chet, Hartenstein was off and kind of quiet tonight. Only 21 minutes, but Caruso, Kaysen, Isaiah, they all look great.
The person I want to highlight as kind of my superstar for this game is Coach Mark Dagnall. Amazing changes throughout the game. He really kept us in flow. He just knew not to go to Shea. Shea was in foul trouble as well in this game with the 5 fouls at the end. But Mark, I mean, he went away from the double big very, very early on. And he also went with the undersized lineup with Hartenstein and then also with Chet, and kind of, managing their minutes the way that he should in a game like this where we needed more offense. And I was surprised that he made that change so early, and I'm glad he did, because I feel like even with Ja, we would have at least cut this to a more respectable lead. I don't think it would have stayed a 30-point lead. I think it would have probably been closer to like a 10-point lead at the end if he was still in. But I'm glad we got this win even with him out, and I'm glad we got tested in a game, because we kind of needed a test like this heading into pretty much the next series. I'm sure we can close it out here in the next game, but if we don't, definitely on the home court. The other person that I want to highlight is Chet. Chet was huge. I mean, defensively, he's always going to bring what he does, but spacing the floor the way he did tonight, I mean, there were just so many clutch moments from him. We needed every single one of his threes, and he hit them all at the right moments as well. Like, offense wasn't flowing, and he kind of inserted himself. And Coach Mark also set some plays for him where they ran some high pick and roll, pick and pop, and then he got some easy looks from that. And then in general, you could tell the guys were looking for him. He was a hot hand. There's multiple possessions where they kind of just kept going back to him and just trusting that he'd make shots, and he pretty much did.
Yeah. Chet, J-Dub, and like I said, Alex Caruso, really clutch plays, moments tonight. Good to see. Super exciting to see, actually. Like I said, they both of our both J-Dub and Chet are really making that second-year playoff leap. And if Shea gets going, we're going to look real unstoppable very soon. It's better to have these games in the first round against poorer teams. So that kind of reminded me of I know Ja went down, but how good this OKC team is. I was never really panicked. I even texted in our group chat. I was like, there was a slight panic after they hit like a 27-point mark, but we cut that pretty quickly. And you just have to stay with the flow of the game. And it's a long game. I mean, this felt like two different games completely, and it's a playoff game. So you really just got to stay locked in and just keep grinding it out. And when you're a good team like OKC or a great team like OKC, it'll end up turning around for you. So what do we have? We have 1 day of rest, and we're going back, staying in Memphis, looking for a sweep. I think we'll get it. I don't believe Ja will be playing. Even if he is able to, I don't see the reason for him to, get himself more injured than what he already is. And
at bare minimum, it's a contusion, I'd have to think.
Yeah. I also wanted to point out, Chet had the most of his points in the second half. He had 23. And the other thing about the big two right now of J-Dub and Chet in the past 3 games, we can look at J-Dub has 26, 24, and 20 on 5 or 6 rebounds and assists in each game and a couple steals. And then Chet in his playoff games, he's at 24, 20, and 19 points with nearly 10 rebounds in each of them, or at least either a couple blocks or, in this case, in this game, 5 3-pointers made. They haven't been playoff droppers the way everyone thought they would be. And I think their leap obviously has a lot to do with our regular season, even though Shea has had his own MVP type of leap. But we're seeing them kind of realize those gains that they've made through the regular season into the playoffs. And that's what we were really hoping for with these guys, to step up. And if they're going to play like this for the rest of the playoffs, we should have no problem getting into the finals.
Yeah, and the greatest thing is Alex Caruso really won the game tonight for us. Defensively, I mean, he looked like the best defensive player I've ever seen, especially in the third and fourth quarter, right? And Shea didn't have it going. So, like, I like to take the positives and just like, all right, Shea didn't have it going, but we're still winning games. We're 3-0. But if Caruso stays locked in like this on the defensive side of the ball, and he can knock down some shots, 10 points. And I see Cason Wallace doing the same damn thing. He's all over everyone. Huge three-pointer in the fourth quarter. He hasn't been scoring too much, but every time he scores in this series, it seems to be either an explosive play or a clutch play. So Thunder are loaded everywhere. They just got to get it together, get the playoff jitters out of their system and start playing clean Thunder offense.
Well, it's not even just sunshine pumping. It's once in a blue moon that you get a game from a team like the Thunder. And when we make those costly mistakes like that, it's not really an ordinary thing. It's just a new thing for us. And I don't see it continuing through the playoffs. And if it does continue, that's when we start raising an eyebrow and questioning the coaching, what the players are doing. And Shea can't keep shooting mid-30. We have to have at least 40s, middle 40s shooting-wise, from field goal percentage-wise from him in the playoffs. So for him to continue shooting in the mid-30s isn't going to cut it. And I hate that because he's such a great scorer. But a lot of it's his shots just aren't falling. He's finding his spots and getting to his spots, but some of his shots just aren't rolling in.
Yeah, I want to comment on Shea's lack of production. I think I mentioned this right before the end of the season and right before we took a couple games off heading into the playoffs. Is I mentioned he's starting to look more and more gassed as we kind of crept into the later half of the season. Like, he was gasping for air for the past last 5 games. Like, I noticed that he just couldn't keep up with the full games. Like, by the fourth, I'd never seen him as, I guess, gassed as he's been. And then with the, rust of them resting through that little break that we just had, and then him going into this, he looks kind of that same way where he's just trying to find, like, even in the first quarters, you can just, every time they pan into him, he's like gasping for air. I kind of expect a lot better from my superstar to be ready for a playoff series, considering the level of talent that he is. Like, he should have the stamina to get to this point. Obviously, this is only our second or his third playoff run, but this is our only second playoff run with this type of group. But I think that's an improvement that they need to make in the summertime or something like that. Anthony Edwards went through last season where he mentioned like he was gassed by the third series. This is just our first series. Like, we can't have Shea already having kind of what I'm looking at as like stamina issues where his shot's not falling because his legs are heavy. Like, yeah, that's expected because of the amount of games he's played, 75, and that'll improve year over year as he gains that experience or whatever. But it's definitely telling, and it's a little bit worrisome. Like, if he's doing that now and we're trying to make, I think we can still get by second and third round. Obviously not him shooting the way he is. Like, the shots will start dropping sooner or later as he catches his legs from the rust or whatever. But the stamina is what I'm looking at. He needs to pick that up for if we're really going to make a serious finals run. We can't make it without him if we're really honest, obviously. And that's kind of there's nothing we can do about it now, but hopefully going into like next season, he paces himself a little bit better, and maybe we don't focus as much on the wins or try to get him more rest between games or sit him a little bit more and pretty much load manage him, because we did not load manage Shea this season. And once you've gotten one MVP, like, I don't think him getting more after this will matter. But
yeah, he's looked awfully tired, especially down the stretch today. I was pretty pissed off about it. Missing shots, kind of lazy on defense. I forget who he was guarding at the end, but
Aldama. He's getting beat off the dribble by Aldama. That's when I knew. I was like, man,
he's tired, and I'm not sure why. Like, he got his rest before the playoffs. This isn't a hard series whatsoever. Hopefully he could just somehow get a second win and get going again. But as of right now, we're 3-0. I got nothing but positives right now. I'd like to finish this series in 4, get them a little more rest. The Clippers just dominated the Nuggets, so that series is looking like it's going to go at least 6 or 7. So we'll get some rest, and we'll see what happens.
I think the rest is fine. I just hope that Coach has these guys playing in the off time that we do have rest, and Shea has a chance to kind of ramp up, because if he's this rusty going into the next series, I don't think we'd beat the Clippers him playing like this.
Chet would be beautiful to have. If Chet keeps playing like this, it would be beautiful to have against both those teams, the Nuggets and Clippers. The Clippers have Vika Zubac, and the Nuggets have Nikola Jokic as center. So to be able to have that ability to spread out, go 5 out, have Chet in the corner, ready to shoot threes, flame throw, that would be nice to have against them if he continue shooting at this high of efficiency from 3.
Yeah, I wanted to address this comment real quick, if that's okay. Hotspot Casino mentioned, can anybody explain to me why Coach keeps sitting Wiggins? Like, why? My only rationale towards him sitting Wiggins in this game is, yes, we needed offensive production, but the way we would have gotten into this game is through the defense. And so he played a lot more of the defensive units and the defensive, structured units in general. So that was kind of the reasoning I came up with it. Like, even he kind of just rode the defensive units on the first half, and it worked. So he kind of just stuck with it in the second. So whatever works, he usually sticks with. And Wiggins just wasn't in the game plan for the type of grit and grind type of game this turned into. And we needed tons of stops. We were fine getting buckets with J-Dub and Chet's production, and even J-Dub, Shea, and Chet combined for 81 points. So we didn't need more offense from any of our bench unit in other games like we typically do, because usually our defense is where we need it to be. In this case, our defense wasn't where we needed, so Wiggins wouldn't help that cause.
I also noticed Mark is running a lot of offensive plays that completely revolve around Isaiah Joe, like drop screens, triple screens, just to get him open on the 3-point line. And I mean, it's complex stuff. That's a lot of stuff for players to remember, and that can absolutely throw a defense on. So for him to, for Isaiah Joe to make threes in that, for Isaiah Joe to make threes in those sets, he'll continue to get minutes if he knocks them down, and that just tops more minutes off of Aaron Wiggins' PT.
Yeah, Joe's spacing creates more for us offensively than Wiggins' isolation scoring, because that's what he really is. He comes in, he's like a one-man wrecking crew where he's not getting the assists or rebounds or anything else. He's not offering anything else on the offensive end or defensive end. So it's like, why not have Joe in?
Wiggins is a respectable defender. It could definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they're both respectable, but when we're looking at the offensive side, what we need more when it comes to minutes alongside if he's playing alongside J-Dub in the second units, I'd rather have Joe spacing the floor so J-Dub can get those easy dunks to the basket than, a two-man game between him and Wiggins or something. So,
it just comes down to the depth of this team and the matchup and how the game's playing. If we need the spacing, Joe's going to be on the floor. If we need more scoring, Wiggs is going to be on the floor. If it's a more defensive game, Caruso and Wallace will be on the floor. It's going to be different every single game. And it doesn't even matter if we're playing the same team over and over. The games can be different. So we'll see.
This was definitely matchup dependent, because we can see Caruso at 23, Kaysen had 24, Dort had 35 in this. Shea was playing heavy minutes, and then J-Dub. So there's no time for him to even get on the floor. Even Joe only had 15 minutes. And so we definitely played a more defensive lineup. So Wiggins just can't play in that type of game plan long term.
I got to go back to one thing, Sapper. You brought up, Shea being tired and how it's kind of unacceptable and not what you look for. He was so tired, he missed a wide open dunk on a fast break in the fourth quarter.
And then he was dragging his legs back onto the other side of the court. And I'm like looking at him like, dude, what is going on?
Doing? You got to condition yourself. I don't care how much you played. You're the MVP.
Yeah. He had time off. He had time off. That's what kind of pisses me off is he had time off. And then he comes in rusty and he's tired and gassed in all three games by the first freaking quarter. Every first quarter you look at him, I'm watching him as closely as a hawk. And he's over here gassed after every freaking play. Like it's only midway through the first quarter and he's like reaching for air. And I'm like, dude, that cannot be how you prepare before the playoffs.
Yeah, and for us to be successful in the second and third rounds, if there is going to be a third round, hope there is, he can't be we're going to go to you every 3 plays and hope that you hit it. He can't be a 22 to 23.
That's not what he was in the regular season. He's an every play guy. Every 10 plays,
he needs to take over. He needs to have enough legs and life in his legs, and he needs to take over. I was really hoping to see it tonight. I mentioned in our live after game 2, I'm hoping that we could rely on Shea tonight. He started great, and then he just disappeared, and then he got tired. We're going to keep a close eye on that. But again, I'd like to go back to very positive things. 3-0. 3-0. Going to probably sweep with Ja out. We just take care of business. We get
second largest playoff comeback in NBA history.
There you go. Great stat. Great comeback regardless of the injury. Like, it takes a full team effort to come back down 29. Our other players, our secondary players, as in Chet and J-Dub, look outstanding. They look ready to roll. Defense looks great. I mean, Memphis hit a lot of shots early in this game. Defense still looked great, though. Bench looks good. We're rolling. Thunder are rolling. This is a very exciting time. David on YouTube said, I think we would have lost if Ja didn't get injured, maybe. There are games in the playoffs where you're just not going to have it or the other team just does. And you're going to get beat down on sometimes. Like, I don't care who you're playing. OKC beat the hell out of Dallas in game 1 last year. How'd that series end up for us? Not great. You're up 2-0. Even if you drop this one, you come back. OKC's been so resilient. They've been such a great bounce-back team all year long. They're more than likely going up 3-1 back to home. But, Ja goes down and they're up 3-0. So shoulda, coulda, woulda, doesn't really matter. It's the NBA playoffs, and you just got to play every game, every minute, and, come out with the victory.
We've rarely lost on back-to-backs, and we've not lost 3 in a row this season. So Yeah, would not have been worried about us closing this in 5.
Right.
Yeah, you just got to keep playing hard, keep pulling away, and you can control the controllables. Like they didn't know that jaw injury was going to happen. That just happened to be a blessing for us, terrible for jaw. I feel really bad for Grizzlies fans. That's never fortunate to see your star player go down in the playoffs. I would hate for something like that to happen to Shea, but worked to our benefit and we took full advantage of it. We could have sagged off. We could have said we're down by too much. This game is over. We're in too deep of a hole. There's no coming out. But they took full advantage of the opportunity and ran away with the game and took the lead in the final minutes.
Another thing is with Coach Mark, he was fighting for us at the end of that game, man, arguing with the refs, really showing his character, really showing some energy. You don't see it much often with Mark, but I guess it's the playoffs and it's crunch time now. I'd love to see him stepping up, fighting for his players, fighting calls without getting technical fouls, smartly arguing. And
do we want to talk about?
He was live clipped too. He was mic'd up, and he was talking to the team. He was lighting a fire under their asses today, and I love seeing that out of our coach.
Do we want to talk about what the hell Zach Edey was doing on that jump ball? 7-4 against a 6'4", 6'5" Lou Dort, and he's over here trying to push Lou Dort out of the way when he could literally just go vertical straight up in the air and win that jump.
He doesn't even have to jump. He doesn't have to jump on that play.
Yeah, and then Lou goes down and misses both free throws. And you know what's funny? Shea left the guy wide open in the corner. Luckily, he missed last play of the game for Memphis there. Mm-hmm. But, man, he needs to wake up.
A lot of just boneheaded out of character decisions both ways, Grizzlies and Thunder. I think Hardenstein had one pass where he threw it into the second row of the stands. That was story of the night.
It was a wonky game. But at the end of the day, it's looking like a sweep, so we take it and move on. That's the thing. I texted my buddy right when the game ended. I was like, gross, but 3-0. Like, can't do anything about it.
We had our turnaround in the third quarter when we had like a 8-0 run that turned into a 10-2 run there, and then they only scored 18 points in the whole third quarter. I mean, that's as impressive as it can get. I mean, we turned around a 26-point halftime gap only to just an 8-point gap, and then we knew with or without Shea in this case that we were going to win that fourth quarter with the starting 5 that we have and the X factor of Caruso. I mean, I think looking forward to other big time series or big time games, Caruso is going to be a must start in all fourth quarters going forward. Like, he could literally play a little bit in the first, rest the next 2, and then play the whole fourth, and I'd be okay with that because he's that level of difference maker. Like,
dude, he's everywhere, man. He's guarding Jaren Jackson Jr. half the game, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, for his size and to not foul and get as many steals. I mean, every time it was a one-on-one, it should be a situation where like teams try to hide their offensive players from him or whatever. Because if he's on the point of attack the way he was everywhere. Every time whoever has the ball, it just, for whatever reason, he's the main point of contact that they first have to get through. And if that's the case, you're just not going to get through it. And then at that same time, I think Dort was dealing with some sort of injury. So it was him and Case and Wallison, and they were just wreaking absolute havoc, like back to back steals. It was impressive. I like their new nickname, by the way, Cookies and Cream.
Yeah, I can rock with that.
Kaysen gets cookies. So, but I thought that was super dope from the squad.
Another thing with Caruso is
I haven't heard that one.
Shout out to my guy, Thunder Chats.
I can rock with that for sure. Another thing with Caruso, fourth quarter on defense, fights through the screen on Edey, called a foul on him, but overturned to an offensive foul on Edey. Just the small plays this guys make. They're so huge. Honestly, he probably was the most important player on the floor tonight, besides Chet. And he's a guy who has an unlimited gas tank. Shea should go talk to him, figure out whatever he's doing to prepare for games, because dude's unreal. And I don't want to ever have the conversation about who won the trade ever again. I was waiting for the playoffs to happen all regular season long. I'm saying you'll see in the playoffs how big this guy's going to be, and Caruso's that guy.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, championship pedigree, experience wins.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention was a 29-point deficit is the largest comeback we've had since, I guess, the regular season. In the regular season, our largest was like a 24-point comeback. So we kind of beat our own record there.
Heat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Miami game.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, guys, you gross game, disgusting. Don't want to ever remember this game. I mean, great win, good comeback, but just not OKC character tonight. But we do come out on top because that's what this team does. They could look like hell all game long, and they'll end up winning the game. So yeah, I mentioned before we're gonna go back into Memphis Saturday at 2:30 Central. So it's a day game. Let's finish this series off and call it a sweep, and let's see how the rest of these games play out. This Denver Clipper series is really intriguing to me, and I'm super excited to see who we're going to play.
Yeah, we need that to go as long as it possibly can. I believe the Nuggets lost today, and they
got dominated. They
didn't have Russell Westbrook because he picked up like a quick ankle injury pregame. So for all the fans saying, whatever about Russ, like he only played 9 minutes, so that's a big impact on the Nuggets.
And they were able to have Porter. I didn't know what his availability would be after his injury in the last game, but they did have Porter. I mean, someone in the Instagram comments said it. I lost it, but it said, actually, I mean, I disagree with that. They said Tubby didn't play too well. I mean, 23, 13, and 13 is pretty damn well, but
he played as well as he can for
Kawhi looks great. Kawhi looks scary, man. Kawhi looks like he's in one of those modes where he could go on a run. Harden looks good. Powell looks good.
I'd love to play them because I still think we could win that series like 4-1, to be honest.
Oh, I definitely
as long as Shea is playing at his MVP level. Like if we can play there at that level, then yeah, we can easily gentlemen sweep the Clippers. But if he's not playing at his level, then it can go 6 or 7, which is not what we want when we know we'll have a really tough series right after that. So
yeah, and then
Kawhi's just one of the most injury dependent players I've ever seen. If he can stay fully healthy for 4 full playoff series, hopefully not. Hopefully the Thunder beat them if they run into them. But that just takes his game to a whole nother level when he's healthy.
We got the Lakers in Minnesota tomorrow at 8:30 Central, coming off another 2-day rest. This is now their second already in the series, where we haven't had one, even with the travel day. Just love that.
LeBron.
But we will see how that goes. And other than that, guys, I'm all set. Big win tonight. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished. Let's go get it done on Saturday. Let's go get it done on Saturday. All right. Yep. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you are enjoying the content and you love OKC as much as we do, drop a subscribe on the channel, please. Follow us on IG, X. Well, where else are we? Spotify, TikTok. I'm probably missing a few, but you know the deal. And you know what, Landon? Why don't you give us one today?
Thunder up, baby! Let's go!